Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City of Olivet Council meeting for April 14th, 2026. Can we please have roll call?
Mayor Clark,
Here.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Here.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Here.
Councilmember Pashon Hellman,
Here.
Councilmember Lewis.
Here. Okay, so we got some communications we're going to go through. I'd like to read a statement from myself and the council. One of the most beautiful things about the City of Olivet is our diverse community. Both the City of Olivet and the City Council and the Police Department understand that recent news and events may have caused concern for members of our community. And we want to speak directly to assure you that everyone in Olivet is valued and welcome. The Olivet Police Department remains focused on keeping our neighborhoods safe, responding to emergencies, and supporting every resident, business, and visitor. Our mission is local public safety and constitutional policing. Immigration enforcement is a federal responsibility, and any actions in our area related to immigrations are conducted by federal agencies under their own legal authority. The Olivet Police Department wants residents to know the Olivet Police Department does not conduct immigration raids. We do not stop, question, or detain anyone solely on determining immigration status. We do not profile or make assumptions based on race, ethnicity, national origin, religion, or language. The Olivet Police Department fully complies with all applicable state and federal laws, including Missouri laws regarding lawful cooperation with federal agency. Please, it is important to note, lawful cooperation does not turn our officers into immigration enforcement agents. Lawful cooperation does not include civil immigration status checks or actions beyond our legal authority. Inclusivity and community remain central goals to the city council. We honor and uphold what sets Olivet apart from other communities. Our diverse community, residents from all walks of life, and one of the largest international populations in the county. Our commitment to honoring this community is reflected in our police department's approach to community policing. Our officers are committed to walking and biking through neighborhoods, attending community events, and being accessible to all residents. We hope you feel their positive presence and see their dedication to keeping everyone safe. We are proud to serve our city and believe Olivet is stronger because of our diversity, our diverse community. Your safety, your rights, and your sense of belonging are our priority. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact Mayor Sidney Clark or Police Chief Elizabeth Andreski. Sincerely, the Olivet City Council and the Olivet Police Chief Elizabeth Andreski. Yes, I think that's worth clapping for. We put that puppy to rest. All right, I have a proclamation here. And folks, this is a long proclamation. So I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to give you the abbreviated version of this proclamation. Declaring International Dark Sky Week in Olivet, whereas aesthetic beauty and wonder of natural night sky is a shared heritage of all humankind, and whereas the experience of standing under starry night sky inspires feelings of wonder, awe, and encourages a growing interest in science and in nature, particularly among young people. And whereas the city of Olivet Stacy Park was certified as Missouri's first and the world's fourth urban night sky place in 2021 in recognition of its achievements to protect the urban night sky and restore native habitats. Therefore, it will be resolved that I, Sidney Clark, Mayor of the City of Olivet, on behalf of the entire Olivet City Council, do hereby proclaim April 13th through April 20th, 2026 as International Dark Sky Week. Thank you. Go ahead.
It's my pleasure to welcome and recognize three of the members of the Parks Commission who are here tonight in honor of that proclamation. Sue Rich, who is the current chairperson of the commission, Bill Hanson in the red, and Jim Persons in the blue. Thank you very much for coming, as well as Beverly Tucker Knight, the Department of Parks and Rec.
Okay. Are there any other communications to share?
Yes, we have several communications emails that were sent into our communications email. I'm going to read those. The first one here is from Susan Colhagen. To the Olivet City Council, I support proposed Bill 3060, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Olivet, being Chapter 400 zoning regulations of Title IV land use of the Olivet Municipal Code for proposed standards to govern data centers. I am grateful that Olivet PCDC is being proactive on this issue and hope that the City Council will approve this bill. I am very much in favor of requiring special permitting for any future data center in our city, since I have read that data centers typically use massive amounts of water and electricity and send out methane and other pollutants into the air and into the water they use. The benefits as far as jobs seem to be very short-term during the construction, and they are often said to be very noisy and unattractive. Citizens have been opposing them being built in their communities all over the country for health and financial concerns. Therefore, I would be in favor of having strict codes as well as transparency to the residents if any data center would want to locate in Olivet. Thank you for serving our community. Sincerely, Susan Colhagen. Next one is also from Susan Colhagen. To the Olivet City Council members, I am an Olivet resident and want to support Bill 3059, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Olivet, being part of Chapter 400 zoning regulations and Chapter 425 community design, both chapters being part of Title IV land use of the Olivet Municipal Code for proposed standards governing residential rooftop solar panels. I am grateful that the City of Olivet is considering this proposal to encourage and streamline the process for residents wanting to install rooftop solar panels. If Olivet PCDC administrative staff is allowed to approve the panel installation without the resident going through the process of getting approval from the commission, that will be a better use of the residents and the commission's time and resources and allows for solar panel projects to more easily move along. Therefore, I urge the council to vote in favor of Bill 3059. Thank you for your attention to this matter and for serving our city. Sincerely, Susan Colhagen. The next one is from Meg Hefner. I am Meg Hefner, 715 North Price Road, Olivet, where I have lived with my family since 1990. To increase the sustainability of our 119-year-old house, we installed geothermal HVAC in 2012 and solar panels on the garage roof in 2013. We are committed to the community and want to see it get even better. To that end, I have a number of comments about the proposed changes to solar panel ordinances. First of all, I object to the language of the introduction of the proposal. I do not consider 20 of 55 projects having to get formal PCDC approval to be only. That sentence could also have been written as more than a third of the permits issued have required formal commission action. That high percentage tells me the regulations are too tight, especially considering each had presumably already been bid out by a reputable solar installation company. Second, regarding acceptable material finishes, this clause is completely irrelevant as it refers to roofing materials and colors. I will note that the 3 times we have replaced our roof over the 36 years we have lived in Olivet, we have never had to get specific approval for materials or colors. Third, under rooftop solar panels, add the following condition. I do not believe any of these need to be spelled out, particularly given current technology and what is possible for installing rooftop solar panels. All these conditions will be specified in any solar installation contract. No need to duplicate. In addition, if technology changes in the future, these specifications might require all installations to seek variances. Specifically, installed parallel to the existing roof plane. Would it really be a problem if the technology allowed for something to be not quite parallel, which provided more efficient solar collection? Do we want to limit ourselves to this? What is the purpose of this clause? Roof plane not exceeding an angle slope of 45 degrees. Again, this is a limit of current technology. Do you really want to have to go back and change this if technology changes? And are there any roofs that are at an angle greater than 45 degrees? Does this actually need to be spelled out? If not, leave it out. consist of comparable color to that of the existing rooftop covering. This is absurd and an insult to the homeowner. No one has to get approval for roof tile colors. How is this different? Has anyone seen the odd colored solar panel? Has anyone ever seen odd color solar panels? Again, unnecessary, so leave it out. Limits the potential of any direct glare to an adjacent property. Okay, this one is fine, although I cannot imagine it is ever an issue. But where on the adjacent property? In a window? On a hillside? Does this really need to be specified? Grouped and centered within the roof plane in which being mounted. I really object to this provision. The optimum placement of solar panels depends on the slope and direction of the roof surface face. And the direction the roof surfaces face, the surrounding trees or other shade producers, and such determined by the installation company's expertise and evaluation of the property. If we want to encourage sustainability, we should be encouraging panels wherever it is feasible to put them. Let the solar installation companies figure that out. I love seeing roofs with a variety of panels all over the place. We want creative, clever solutions. We were fortunate that our garage roof faces south and is large. If we had wanted to put panels on the hipped roof of our house, we would have needed a more creative solution. Perhaps in the future, panels could follow the contours of a roof. This clause might not actually allow that. Do not limit what can be done by being so very specific. Finally, I would like to comment on the ordinances in general. So many ordinances are very specific and unnecessarily duplicate things that would already be covered by reputable contractors, and most were written decades ago. Community standards have changed, technology has changed, yet ordinances are so specific that far too many projects have to go before PCDC for approval or variances. Ordinances will better serve the community and citizens if written in general format with only necessary specifics included. This would allow for changes in community standards and technology without having to rewrite regulations or get variances for as many projects. Thank you very much for your consideration of my comments. Meg Hefner. The next one is from Stephanie Todd, City Council. Below are comments to Bill 3059, the draft ordinance on solar panels, based on the intent of the ordinance to develop regulations to streamline the review and approval of residential rooftop panels. My comments are as follows. Draft number 1, draft ordinance states consist of a comparable color to that of existing rooftop covering. Issue, black or dark blue are the natural colors of the materials and process used. There may be other colors available in the future, but panels will have up to 50% less efficiency due to pigment being added. As other colors potentially become available, will PCDC require the panels to match the roof color as stated in the ordinance? If PCDC dictates other colors than black or dark blue, efficiency will be reduced, most likely making installation unfeasible. Suggestion, delete color review or require panels to be black or dark blue. Draft ordinance states, limits the potential of any direct glare to an adjacent property. Issue, how is glare defined and measured? What locations on adjacent properties will glare be measured? Calculating actual reflected glare and intensity would be cost prohibitive, and even if it was determined somehow to be undesirable, the glare would only last for a few minutes on certain days of the year. Suggestion, remove glare requirement. Number 3, draft ordinance states, grouped and centered within the roof plane in which being mounted. Issue, what if there are shade issues with a mature tree or a neighboring building? Solar panel design is based on a lot of calculations. If solar panels have to be grouped and centered, even if this puts them in the shade, it will make solar panels unfeasible in this situation. Suggestion, remove centering requirements. Could add the requirement of a 3-foot perimeter buffer around the panels if that is the intent of centering. Number 4, solar panels are being added to the code of ordinances under residential accessory structures where items like patios, sheds, detached garages, and so forth are located. Issue, solar panels are not an accessory structure. They are infrastructure similar to furnaces, piping, and air conditioners or roofing materials. Their purpose is totally functional, not aesthetic, and the design is the result of detailed calculations. Making designs based on aesthetics will reduce effectiveness. Is there an ordinance on the color of air conditioners? Suggestion, add solar panels to infrastructure or roofing materials section. Thank you for your consideration, Stephanie Todd. And then we have this one from Raphael Tomlinson. I would like to provide a comment about the Olivet Solar Panels Ordinance. Please pass along my statement to the members of the City Council. I would like to speak for the ordinance overall, but against certain parts of the ordinance. I believe that we should be encouraging solar installations, and parts of this ordinance help encourage solar panels, namely Section 1, adding language permitting the installation of solar panels. However, I oppose parts of Section 2. Namely, I object to these 2 lines of the ordinance. consist of comparable color to that of the existing rooftop covering and grouped and centered within the roof plane in which being mounted. My objection overall is that adding these lines causes unnecessary regulation that needlessly discourages adoption of solar panels by increasing the cost of installation. I believe that these costs are non-trivial. For the consistent color, there are two issues. First, it is unclear how consistent the color must be, which sounds benign but will ultimately lead to a lot of costly haggling. Most importantly, many colored solar panels are less efficient at energy production. This reduces the benefit of the panels, leading to fewer installations. Similarly, matching the color of solar panels can be more expensive, again, reducing installations. Offsetting this is a question of nuisance to one's neighbor, but here I don't believe that very many, if any, solar installations are actually eyesores. In fact, I think that the standard solar panels look good and unobtrusive with any roof color. For the grouped and centered provision, I have the same issues and one more. It may be that on some roofs, being centered is not the optimal location for solar. It may get less sun than a position on one side or other of the roof. In fact, I will note that I have also seen non-centered solar panels on roofs like this, and I do not believe that it causes any eyesore for the neighbors. In short, these two lines of the code increase the cost and decrease the benefits of solar, discouraging solar adoption, even as they are proposed as solutions for problems that do not exist. I thank you for your consideration of this matter. Raphael Tomlinson. And that is all I have.
Quite a bit. We'll go on to our city manager's report at this time.
All right, good evening. All right, good evening. Couple of things this evening. So, as this is the first meeting of the month, we always give an update on Olive Crossing. So, some of you were able to attend the ribbon cutting on Friday for Brass Tap. I think it was, by all accounts, well attended. They've been open for about a month now, and I think it is becoming a popular restaurant here in Olivet. We expect Paris Baguette to open towards the end of the month or the beginning of May. And then Tropical Smoothie and Verizon are both working on their tenant spaces, and we would expect them hopefully to be open, if not at the end of spring, at the beginning of the summer. So Lot 3 is moving along nicely. Lot 5, this is the potential restaurant, 2 restaurants. When I saw the developer at the ribbon cutting on Friday, he insists that the lease is all but finalized for the signatures. So hopefully we will be able to announce what the restaurant will be proposed for Lot 5. Lot 6 is the hotel. So it has gone through the PCDC process. And Bomarito is taking the dirt. As you may know, there is a large pile of dirt on the lot that needs to be removed before the construction of the hotel can begin. And the developer has come to an agreement with Bomarito, who is doing a project up at University of Missouri St. Louis campus. And so they will be taking the dirt off of that site. So you should be seeing activity up there. And then, of course, Lot 1 and Lot 4, Lots 1 and 2 and Lot 4 are complete. Next week starts the annual bulk collection for trash. So that is Monday, April 20th through Friday, April 24th. These are typically items that don't fit in your regular curbside trash container. So you can put them out at the curb, and Republic Services will come by and pick them up. If you want more specific details about things that they will pick up, I would encourage everybody to scan the QR code. One item of note, they will not take appliances. So if you do have an appliance that you need to dispose of, you can call them directly and make arrangements with them, but they're not taking appliances in this bulk collection. The park restrooms and water fountains open tomorrow. So we invite everybody to enjoy the parks in the spring. The splash pads will reopen Memorial Day weekend. So hopefully we will have nice weather for Memorial Day and those splash pads. And then, of course, Five Oaks, we are taking Camp Five Oaks registration for kids ages 5 to 12. Camp starts June 8th. We would encourage everybody to register for 1 week or all 8 weeks. And then Party in the Park is Friday, May 8th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Stacy Park. We're having a live band, Cahill and Company. We are having Pure Chill with their Twisted Slushies. If you came to Holy, they were also at Holy with their slushies. So they're coming back. The Bubble Bus is also coming. So we have ice cream from Domo, and then Sweet Reads will also be there. The council is invited to come to the park May 8th. I understand they have a table for the council to do arts and crafts. So it's a great opportunity for everyone to have a good time, interact with kids. And then we'd like to congratulate the Olivet Police Department. They have been designated a Missouri Blue Shield department. This is a new recognition through Governor Kehoe's initiative, and it recognizes Missouri cities that demonstrate their commitment to enhancing public safety and then investing in and supporting law enforcement and building partnerships between law enforcement and our community. So we congratulate the police department on that. And then, of course, one of the things that we are building partnerships with between not only the police department, but also the fire department is the St. Louis County Animal Adoption Center, which is just north at Bauer and Warson. And so they're having an adoption event, Heroes for Hounds, on May 9th up at Five Oaks from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it is in collaboration with the Friends of St. Louis County. This is the new foundation specific for St. Louis County's pet shelters. So we would encourage everybody to come out if you happen to be looking to add to your family. And then the first 15 adoptions have been covered. So there's been some sponsorships to cover those adoptions. And if you'd like to get an advanced peek, you can follow the QR code to see the adoptable animals. And of course, I always encourage everybody to sign up for the Olivet Weekly, which is our weekly newsletter that comes out on Monday. It has all kinds of information about things going on in the city. And then here's your upcoming meeting schedule. And with that, I can answer any questions the council may have.
Do we have any questions from the council? Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you very much. So now we're going to go into our city council reports. And I'll start with Councilmember Solomonov.
No report for me this evening.
Okay, Councilmember Pishon Hellman.
I attended the EDC meeting, Economic Development Commission meeting last night. And you may recall from a previous update that staff has been sending out surveys to businesses to get a sense of feedback, what's going well, what ways can the city improve. And we've had 21 businesses return the surveys, which is about 6%. And the commissioners, as well as council members, have been asked to do some in-person reaching out to businesses with some postcards to encourage businesses that we may have contacts with to offer their feedback. And then the business awards were decided last night, but I'm not sure how publicly. It's public? Yes. Okay. So the business of the year is Aldi. The restaurant of the year is Great Heart. And the Commissioner's Choice Award is Plant Haven. So I'm guessing those businesses have been or will be notified soon, and so that's exciting. It's they'll be recognized at an upcoming Chamber of Commerce meeting luncheon with the Olivet Creve Coeur Chamber of Commerce. And I think that about covers it for EDC. Just a quick announcement that is somewhat relevant to what we'll be discussing later. But Cool Cities STL, which is a collaborative effort among cities in the St. Louis region to work on and advance sustainability initiatives. They are having their next pop-up on Wednesday, April 22nd at 10 a.m. and that's at the Webster City Hall. So I'd invite anybody who is interested to attend that, and it's on specifically helping residential customers access solar through community solar through Ameren, and then also a group buy program through the Missouri Botanical Garden.
Thank you. Okay, so Councilmember Lewis.
Just a shout out to the two things. Brass Tap opening on Friday, was able to attend. It was very exciting to see a lot of community there and talk to the owners, and they seem very excited to be part of all of that. And said business has been very good, even for a soft opening. So that was very, very exciting. Did attend a PCDC meeting on April 2nd. One of the things covered is still trying to align the goals of PCDC with the council goals to make sure that we're actioning on the same things moving forward. So that work is still underway with surveys and bringing it forward. And we're having spirited discussions just on like housing, how do we maintain housing? How do we maintain the look and feel of all of that? So just ongoing conversations that potentially could, through PCDC, make their way back to city council. But just ongoing, thoughts from different members trying to determine how do we maintain, but also advance progress.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Weil.
I've not attended any meetings. I will be attending tomorrow night, the Parks meeting. I'll
Okay.
share that next time.
I did attend the opening for Brass Tap as well. It was very festive atmosphere. I think it's really going to be one of the favorite places for a lot of people in the area to visit. So I'm wishing them nothing but the best. So we're going to go on to item number 5, hearing from citizens. This is the portion of the agenda where anyone present, in person or virtually, may address the city council regarding any topic, including those later in the agenda. Each speaker, thank you. Each speaker is allowed up to 3 minutes to address the mayor and city council. We will take speakers in person first, allowing one and only one, followed by anyone online. If you're in person, please complete the speaker card and give it to the clerk. If you have already given your card to the clerk, we will take you in order in which the cards were submitted. If you are online and wish to speak, please use the raise your hand feature and you will be added to the speaker list. For all speakers, we ask that you state your name and address for the record prior to delivering your remarks. So, I have Laura Ragsdale.
Good evening. So I'm coming in front of the council tonight just to ask for some help. I spoke in front of the council before about the same issue. I've had conversations with Mr. Trejos about it as well. And it has to do with derelict vehicles. According to Olivet's Municipal Code, Section 215.2660, Article 17, it says, discarded or derelict machine, apparatus, equipment, or vehicle which has been dismantled or which is in such a state of disrepair that it cannot be currently used for the purpose for which it was designed, and shall further include any vehicle which cannot be driven under its own power, and any vehicle which is not currently licensed for operation on streets and highways, provided, however, that any vehicle with a current or valid historic license plate shall not be deemed discarded or a derelict vehicle. So diagonal across from me, when we moved in 5.5 years ago, they have 2 vehicles that have not moved in 5.5 years. They have not been licensed in 5.5 years. They have, at one point, 6 vehicles, and not one of them has a current license plate. They think that putting a cover over the cars is fixing the problem. Those cars can't move. They never can move. I don't, it's according to the code, it is a derelict vehicle. And I understand that it's not really a building code issue, but it's still a municipal code. And we need to be following our codes. And if you don't want to follow that one, then how about section 215.670 for outside storage prohibited? Outside storage of any property except as specifically authorized by a special use permit of any discarded or derelict machine, apparatus, equipment, or vehicle is prohibited. These vehicles do not have current plates, have not moved. So it would fall under that. And it says in there that those have to be, they can't be in open storage under 222.030. Open storage of inoperable vehicles is prohibited. I shouldn't have to look at them. And I've looked at them for 5.5 years. I've asked for help. I've asked for our HOA. Our HOAs fine them. They don't pay the fine. And I get told from the HOA president, well, we'll get it when they move. Great. How does that help me? It doesn't. I get to look at it every day. It's the first thing I see when I walk out my door. I took a picture tonight. The cover's hanging off. They've propped tires there now to hold the covers on. Like they're just adding more junk to the driveway. It's the worst looking house in the entire neighborhood. And it's just not acceptable. And I need help because I've been asking for over 2 years.
So just to let the council know and Ms. Ragsdale, the house has been cited, the property owner has been cited, and it is before the municipal judge.
And that's when they put the covers on it.
Mhm.
And I get that that's their fix, because then you can't see that they're not licensed, but that's not a fix. That's a Band-Aid.
I mean, we have cited them, and I think they're still working their way through the process with the municipal judge. But once it goes to court, like it is in some ways out of staff's hand.
It takes 2 years to go to court.
It's in court now, what I can tell you.
Is there any way that I can find out when a court date is?
Sure, we can get that back to you.
Okay, because I would like to know that.
Sure.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak? Is there anyone online who would like to speak? Do we see anyone? Okay, so we'll go on to item number 6, which is Bill 3059. Can we please have that read?
Bill 3059, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Olivet, being part of Chapter 400 zoning regulations and Chapter 425 community design, both chapters being part of the Title for land use of the Olivet Municipal Code for proposed standards governing residential rooftop solar panels.
Do we have any questions from the council? Go ahead. Yeah? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Trejos, I'm finding Mr. Trejos's memo.
Oh,
He eased up there so easy and quiet like.
waiting for.
Are you set, Mayor? Sorry. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Carlos Trejo. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Olivet, and here asking the council to consider action on Bill 3059, which addresses administrative review for rooftop solar panels. Just a couple of points, because this bill has been read twice, and it's awaiting for council to a motion. But this was a direct directive from the council on November 4th from your work session. Specifically, the council discussed the comprehensive plan goals and priorities. And the guidance of the council was to consider regulations that are more supportive of solar panels. The following Thursday, it was taken to the commission on November 6th to commence discussion about the council and its goals regarding the comprehensive plan, including the discussion regarding to consider regulations that are more supportive of solar panels. commission discussed this throughout their December meetings and and then in January 15th, staff provided them a drafted bill that you see before you tonight regarding those regulations. The whole intent was to remove the process of residents having to go to the Plan Commission for a permit. So what we did, similar to what we do with the accessory structures, is we provided guidance for staff to administratively approve and authorize these permits without having to submit these to the commission whatsoever. And there we use the same conditions that the commission has been using for the past 13 years in there, which was regarding placement, grouping, parallel, and glaring in there. So this process all occurred in the public format with discussions on November 16th at the commission, November 6th, 20th, and the 2 December meetings at the commission. On January 15th, the commission had it as a formal agenda item. And of course, we had our public hearing on March 10th. All PCDC meetings provided an opportunity for public comment, both at the beginning of the meeting and during the actual item discussion. Again, the specific goals of the drafting of this ordinance were directed from the council is to consider regulations that are more supportive of solar panels. The intent of this bill is to streamline the permitting process for the installation by codifying the 2013 standards that were adopted or kind of informally adopted by the commission for the review process, and to authorize administrative review and approval based on those standards. Guardrails do remain in place. This bill is written for my staff to have that ability to make those reviews, but in case when there are exceptions, it's not intended to prohibit, it's intended to provide a process for public comment. And that is through the city's Architectural Review Board, which is your Planning and Community Design Commission. I overheard the comments, and I'd seen them prior also. And there's a lot of good comments in there. Ordinances aren't perfect. We'd like to say that they are, but they should be constantly changing given the environment, times, application, and changes in interpretation in there. So no ordinance is truly perfect, and it all depends on the context in there. I urge the council to consider the adoption with the intent that this ordinance can be amended and changed at any request of the council or over time. If there are any questions specific to the ordinance, I'd be glad to answer those. I think we've gone through them in the hearings in the past 2 meetings in there. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
I did have a few questions for you. So,
Yes, sir.
I mean, taking into consideration what we heard tonight and some of the citizen communication, first would be the centering of the panels on the roof. I think there's a good point about shade potentially covering part of the roof. So I don't feel personally very strongly about that specific one. And I was just curious if there's a specific reason why we wanted them to be centered on the roof. Is it more of an aesthetic thing or something else?
No, it's a good question, and it goes back into interpretation and who's viewing the ordinance and such. We have a professional inspection staff, and the centering comes from the International Building Code that in the roof, they have to have a perimeter around there to allow for fire officials to kind of walk around the perimeter of that. I understand the context, taken out of context, that you have to center it. If, we have I think one of the longest ranch houses with an A-frame roof is the southeast corner of Grandview and Forsythia. I mean, that's a really long house in there. But, I understand there is the opportunity to break them, but the centering is really the intent that we have the ability to walk around that roof for the purposes of safety.
So there has to be, say, a 3 or 4 foot
Correct.
edge on every, but if the panels are off center, but still leave that 3 or 4 foot edge on the side, would that be acceptable?
Correct. Yes.
So that is, okay.
And I do understand, I mean, the language used probably could be tweaked or changed, and I don't think we should just adopt it and just stop at that point. I think we should continue to evaluate that. And
Okay.
there could have been a better way to word that, and we're open to that.
Okay. On the color of the roofs too, or color of the panels, I think any black or navy panels, the standard colors as they are today, they're going to be the most efficient. I don't know what roof that wouldn't match with potentially, and that is even something that we need to call out if they are the standard color.
Again, it goes back to the standards that the commission has had since 2013, and we use the term comparable, and that's a common term that's used throughout our land use code and the municipal code. The intent of that is, again, yes, black and the dark navy blues are the primary, but when we get the prints that are submitted, sometimes those colors are just, depending if it's on paper or it's a PDF, can come slightly off. The intent is it should be a dark color. The concern of calling them out, I would have concern for my staff that then it'd be used as a means to get too narrowed down in there. The intent in this is to make sure an alumni from the University of Tennessee doesn't put orange with a big T in the middle. That is okay, but I, as a staff member, wouldn't want to issue that permit unless someone like
Yeah.
the Plan Commission authorized that. So the goal is not to prohibit somebody wanting to put different colors in there, and not to get too narrowed down to say black and blue only, because again, that's always within the eye of the beholder.
I have another question about the color. Do they even make these other colors or?
You can,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
so that's one, that's just my naivete, but the other question is it part of it so that it will complement the rooftop? It's like, if I have gray shingles, should mine be more of a gray tone or?
No, it is something, I mean, again, that the term complement, compatible, or
Okay.
comparable.
Okay,
And they're all within the same realm of these. And again, my concern isn't necessarily the specifics of the wording that can always change or that can be changed in there, but there are some deviations in there. I think the intent is still to use that same type of principle where if your roof, you have white asphalt shingles and you're putting black solar panels because they're the most effective, or a dark navy blue type, that is comparable. It's
so Mr. Trejo, one of the questions, first of all, I've got great faith in PCDC and I know they do their homework and everything, but these letters, they say that it's more of a cost if we tell them what colors. Is there a higher cost for the darker colors that people are?
no, the
giving
intent of
us
the cost
preference?
was, again, it's in the context of what that discussion was. No, those are the darker colors are the standard colors.
Mm.
It's the alternative colors that are probably going to have a more cost than what we've heard are less effective in there. And the intent is not to increase the cost. And matter of fact, is to expedite the process and not have to pay the commission cost and
Great.
in
Thank
the
you.
review.
And
It's perfect,
Mr.
thank
Tre-
you.
Go ahead.
Mr. Trejo, obviously I got to listen in PCDC and fully in support of the goal of this, which is to make it easier. And if I'm correct, two questions, I guess. One is, my understanding is it's not that drastic things have changed in what we're doing. We're just formalizing it to allow staff to move faster through this process and not have to bring everything.
That was the
Intent.
guidance we
Yep,
got from the
yep,
council.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I think that's important that everyone understand that the goal is to allow staff to make these decisions to move forward without having to bring it to PCDC every time. But we didn't drastically, correct me if I'm wrong, drastically change what the language was of approval comments anyway. That was always the case, right? Okay. And second, there is an interesting, the color I agree with, because if somebody comes up with a, crazy color, and the Tennessee one's a good example. You're not saying it's a no, but you want to bring it to PCDC for approval at that point. It's almost like a special use or something. But the comment on the roof was interesting in that, is that true that somebody can put any color roof they want right now without any, approval or anything like that? Is that accurate?
Correct. I mean, we had a 32 St. Alfred was going to do some of the terracotta clay tile type of systems, and then we see the traditional asphalt roofings. We have one property that has solar panel or solar roof panels, I guess, or solar shingles, I guess is what it's called in there. So there are a variety of those.
It is interesting that we don't control roofs, but we would control solar panels, which maybe, I'm not saying that's good or bad.
No.
But
And I think one of the comments was, whether that is it is an accessory structure or that is part of the functioning of the building, but it goes down to a choice in there. You are going to have an air conditioning unit or so, but the roof, the solar panels, again, the process that's been laid out here was to ensure that there were not obstacles to their placement.
yeah, I do think to the earlier comment, the grouping comment could probably be reworded just because we're not saying it only has to
Mhm.
be centered. There could be reasons it could be as long as the code for the 3 feet or 4 feet is still maintained. So I think that's something worth changing.
Another question that I had, and I will say, there's two parts of this, ordinance that's before us. And the first is to amend chapter 425 to permit tempered glass associated with rooftop solar panels. Yay, great, let's do it. I'd vote yay on that right now. Then the second is the more detailed parts relating to the rooftop solar panels under accessory structures. And with the question of comparable color, that terminology, although it is standard in the in Article 6 or 11, sorry, no, 16, what is it, whatever the article is, the Roman numerals are throwing me off. If you had a green roof, someone could come with a green solar panel and say it's comparable in color.
Correct.
My sense is that the intent of this is to say that any of the standard colors, the black and the dark blue, that those should be accepted easily. So my leaning would be to change the language to say that it would consist of standard colors within the range of black and dark blue, allowing hopefully some flexibility, but also being clear that what we're really trying to do with the color is to say that administrative approval of a pink solar panel, a purple solar panel, a green solar panel, that administrative staff does not feel comfortable approving those, that those would need to go to PCDC. And if I'm understanding that intent correctly, then I think we just say more clearly what the intent is. And then the other piece with regard to the grouping and centering, I think, and in my mind, a way to make that language a little bit more workable is grouped and placed in order to maximize efficiency and maximize installation safety, or something about safety, so that it doesn't have to be centered, but that they are grouped. We don't want one panel here, one panel there, whatever roof plane they're being installed on, they need to be grouped, and any reputable solar installer will group them. If they're not grouped, then that is a big red flag, I would think. But we want to be able to allow for a maximization of efficiency and also adherence to codes, which I'm sure there are installing codes that require a certain amount of clearance around the perimeter as well.
Mr. Trejo, does the building code call out specifically the perimeter, the
Yes.
required perimeter? So my suggestion for your language, because I can foresee a application where maximum efficiency and safety are not their intention, perhaps we specifically say it needs to have that 3-foot perimeter. So if staff is given the opportunity to approve these things, which is the intent, staff isn't guessing, right, what the safety standard is, if the council chooses to go that direction. Include the maximize efficiency, but then also make the safety standard consistent with the building code.
I think also include the grouping, because I agree, it doesn't need to be centered, but we would want it grouped, because I agree, we are trying to avoid like 4, 4, 4.
Oh, sure, I was.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some of it goes down to, again, the direction and the intent of the ordinance, and that is to provide staff some flexibility of being able to expedite these or go through the review process. And there, when we get to some of that wording, and it's all within these 3 or 4 individual words is, again, maximum efficiency. We rely on the provider to you know, and that discussion with the resident, that the provider is providing our resident the maximum efficiency. I don't know the specifics in the code dictating what that is. And that's what the inspectors kind of follow through. So yes, if you tell me this is the maximum, the most efficient and maximum use for that location, we're going to go by what you've identified. Because we don't have that expertise, not to, again, and I don't want to discredit our inspectors. We know how the installation works, what the process works, but to make the determination that that is the maximum efficiency, I think you put it, I'm a little concerned of having that responsibility.
Would you be more comfortable then with saying to the suggestion? I think we're all generally saying the same thing, is like, whatever the building code is, 3 feet or 4 feet, or
Correct.
if we
Or-
reference like, it must keep a grouping of the 3 feet or whatever the standard is in this code, in this building code or something.
To the extent, I think the goal of this was to make sure that they were grouped, and they're kind of centered within that plane. You do have an opportunity in a long ranch house where they, for whatever reason, could have them at the two opposite ends.
Mhm.
And I think that is reasonable. And I think I'm comfortable with my staff making that decision, and whether that, you know, shouldn't be the exception, but if there's a different way to word it, that they're not scattered
Yeah.
throughout the plane or through different planes.
I think the word centered is throwing people off, because centered, you jump right to, okay, that's the middle of the roof,
Yes.
right? I think that's the challenge.
And I totally understand that. And it's just, looking at some the compatible grouping, and there was a third one there, sorry. And it is based on the interpreter of that ordinance at that time.
So-
There.
What if it's just grouped within the roof plane in which it's being mounted?
Keeping safety.
So I
portions.
think, Ms. Carr has been listening to this. Oh my gosh. Technology's not being nice to me today. Ms. Carr has been listening to the conversation, and I think she has drafted some language that maybe the council could consider, so that you could amend the ordinance this evening and then pass it if you would like. So turn it over to Ms. Carr.
So first of all, on the grouping and centering, this was one thought that I had. The panels shall be grouped within the plane and located for maximum efficiency as determined by the owner or the provider, as long as a sufficient perimeter is maintained in accordance with building and safety codes. And then with respect to,
It's good.
oh, okay, I thought you were.
No, it's not. You nailed it. Like, that's good.
And then with respect to the colors, this is just an option that I had. Permissible colors shall include those within the range of black and dark blue, provided that other colors may be permissible, subject to approval by the PCDC.
Can we, maybe instead of by just PCDC, can we say by staff?
Or,
Well, staff, if it has a problem, is going to take it to PCDC, but there might be something where they're like, that's a dark green and that's fine.
Yep.
Let's not, I don't want to have to come to PCDC. If Mr. Trejo's staff is okay with it, I trust them.
Okay.
I'd be curious, Carlos, to hear your thoughts on, the language sounds good to me. From a planning perspective, I'd be curious to hear, yeah.
There you go. No, I'd be. I think by identifying the black and the blue in there kind of narrows it down. In there a majority, and you saw pictures in there outside of maybe one I can think of, which was a really kind of a turquoise, which still falls in the blue hue. I haven't seen anything that's beyond that. So I think it's, it goes back to the direction of council. It beats what we have in place right now and helps us expedite it. So I support it.
Yeah, and I feel more comfortable with this language, and I think all that being said, and with, given the discussion and the comments as well, just with the awareness that if we find that it's not working,
Then we can
we'll
back-
come back and we'll adjust it. Because the
Absolutely.
intent is to make it easier for folks to install solar, and also to make sure that the solar that's being installed is being done in a competent and it's being done by a professional. Exactly.
Totally agree. We can always modify this if it's not the right thing.
Yeah, and for the record, if we do need to modify this ordinance again, what does that look like? Just for anyone listening, going back to this, what would the process look like if we needed to modify it a second time?
So you're assuming that you pass it this evening, time passes, and we need to make a change? Yeah, so it goes all the way back to the process, right? So, Carlos would make a recommendation to council. We're seeing problems with solar panels. Here they are. Council, would you like to make these changes? Council will say yes and would direct Carlos to draft something. He would take it to PCDC. PCDC would chew on it as long as they need to. And then once PCDC has voted to make a recommendation, then it comes to the council. You have a public hearing, you have a first reading, you have a second reading, and then you all vote.
Okay. I just want to make sure that there's confidence that it can't be changed again. It's not a one and done type of situation, right? So if we didn't specifically address every single comment, but it doesn't mean that we can't in the future.
And there are
that's all I
multiple
wanted.
venues, I think, too, in
Mhm.
that process. One is staff noting to the commission, this is our 15th one of this color or so. The other is the commission saying this is the 15th time that this has come before us. The encourage staff to do that. And then there is the resident approaching whether the commission or the council, and they're saying that they're.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if the council is okay with the language that Ms. Carr provided, and assuming she hasn't changed anything.
Yep.
So procedurally, please correct me if I'm wrong, someone needs to make a motion to amend the bill before you, and you could say, make a motion to amend the bill to include the text provided by, Ms. Carr. You will have to take a vote on that, and assuming that amendment, regardless whether the amendment passes or not, then you will need a second motion to approve the bill as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the bill, to amend the bill with the language provided by Ms. Carr, specifically around grouping and colors.
Second.
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Councilmember Pashon Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
The motion to amend has passed.
And now I would like to make a motion to approve the newly amended ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of Olivet, being chapter 400 zoning regulations and chapter 425 community design, both chapters being part of Title 4 land use of the Olivet Municipal Code for proposed standards governing residential rooftop solar panels.
We have a second.
I'll
Second.
Do we poll the council, please?
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Councilmember Pashon Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Motion is passed. Bill 3059 becomes ordinance 2831.
Good compromise.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, if it's all right with the council, I would like to skip over the vehicle surplus and go straight to the application for a liquor license, and then we'll loop back around to the vehicle.
We also have the resolution.
Okay. You did the resolution.
No, that was a different. I think, oh, I don't know. I thought that was dark sky.
Oh, go ahead. Please, Mr. Trejo, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council. I have Andrew Dowd here. He is in the process of negotiating of taking over the Olivet Lanes at 9520 Olive Boulevard. And in doing so, it's required that there is a restaurant bar in the facility. Liquor license are not transferable, so he's made an application to place it under the company he oversees, Your Lane Entertainment LLC. As part of the liquor license process, we evaluate both, there's a evaluation by the police chief regarding a background history that has came out positive. You have Police Chief Andreski's memo in there. And then our staff took a look at back taxes and things of that. Everything is up to date and caught up. And therefore, we would recommend the council consider the authorization of the liquor license. I also would like to introduce Mr. Dowd, who's here, if there's any questions.
Yes, please come forward. Well,
Mr. Mayor, Council, how you guys doing?
we're well.
Just to introduce myself, Andrew Dowd, grew up in Ladue, went to Conway, Ladue Middle, Country Day, lived in Olivet for some time. My daughter went to Old Bonham. She's a freshman at Ladue High School. We're actually heading to the Blues game in a minute here, so I appreciate it, Mr. Mayor, for moving this up on the agenda. Yeah, I'm just really excited to be taking part in this endeavor. And the city of Olivet's been nothing but helpful. And I really look forward to continuing that relationship. I personally don't drink, so I think it's funny that a liquor license is what I'm applying for. But as we all know, business doesn't hurt when you have some liquor sales.
Yes.
Are there any questions for me?
I'm just curious, are hours of operation changing, anything changing? Or is it as simple as you just need to listen?
I am going to, it's just business as usual. Is there a possibility on the weekends of extending the hours another hour? Possibly. I would talk to you guys before I made any of those changes though.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we're not looking to become a 3 o'clock late night hangout in the city of Olivet. That just doesn't seem to fit.
Well, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city clerk to issue a liquor license for the remaining 2026 calendar year to Stay in Your Lane Entertainment LLC, doing business as Olivet Lanes, addressed at 9520 Olive Boulevard.
Second.
Okay, can we please poll the council?
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Councilmember Pashon Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Thank you, council. I really appreciate it.
Enjoy the
When
game.
will you take ownership?
On the 1st of May.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And Miss Yackley, I would like to add another 5 adoptions to be taken care of for the Olivet Lanes, to pay for 5 more adoptions for your dog drive.
Thank you. That's very generous.
Yeah.
I will let the appropriate people know.
So yeah, just send me an email and I will fund that.
Thank you very much.
1,000 each.
What's that? Oh, Jesus. Half a dog, the back half. Thank you guys
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, sir. Now we're gonna go back to the item number 8, request to
I
declare.
think we need to go to item number 7. The resolution for the
Okay, I'm sorry
Lights
about
Out
that.
Heartland campaign.
Okay, so let's go to resolution. You did say that. You did say that. A resolution to support the Lights Out Heartland campaign. Item number 7. You have the microphone.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Beverly Tucker Knight, Parks and Recreation Director. This evening, we have before you a resolution that would support the program called Lights Out Heartland. And it is, it's a curious collection of organizations that got together a few years ago to address an issue that impacts our region. It impacts a lot of parts of the United States, but our region specifically because we sit on something called the Mississippi Flyway. So I don't want to bore you, but I do want to kind of give a little understanding of what exactly this means. So Lights Out Heartland started as a collaboration between Dark Sky, International Dark Sky, and the Audubon Society. And as you all know, Stacy Park is certified by the International Dark Sky Association as an urban night sky location, urban night sky place, which is a pretty big deal for us. We, as you heard earlier this evening, we were the first in the United States and the 4th in the world. So it's a pretty special designation. We know that our residents really value protecting dark skies, but more importantly, protecting human lives and the environment of animals and birds in our community. So, oh, I have a clicker. Thank you. This is great. I don't have to say next slide, as long as I turn it on correctly. Okay, here we go. So the first thing, very briefly, we sit on the Mississippi Flyway. There are 4 primary flyways that go between North and South America, and this is where all migratory birds fly. The Mississippi Flyway is the biggest of these and carries the most birds. And as you can see, it has a little hourglass shape and it concentrates down right over St. Louis, and Olivet sits right in the middle of that. And to give some perspective, there's over 325 species that utilize this flyway. Millions of birds will fly on it every night during migration. 40% of all the waterfowl in the United States go through this flyway. That's a phenomenal number. It's the largest in North America. It goes from Canada all the way down to the Gulf. And peak migration is right now. It's April and May for spring migration, all those birds going north. And then September and October, all those birds returning down south again. Now, the reason we say traditionally is because migration is shifting now as things get warmer. Birds are starting to fly earlier, which is, not necessarily a great thing for them. Oops. It's okay. That's okay. Don't worry. Perfect. And oh, so that people can see it online. That's important. Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay, I'll just get quickly back. Here we go. This is important. It's important because it comes right through our region. So our behaviors and the way we live in Missouri have a direct impact on all of these birds. And why are they coming on the Mississippi? Simply because the river is right there. It's a great thing for them to see. There are no mountains, and also there's lots of food and shelter along the way. It's a really, really grueling journey for them, and having ample food and shelter during the daytime when they come down out of the sky is really important. And despite all the changes that have happened to the Mississippi over the decades of human occupation, it still is a great place for birds. And yeah, there we go. Sorry. And what's really interesting, I did not know this until I was an adult, is that birds that migrate at night. The only birds that migrate during the daytime, sometimes you'll see some geese and then large birds like hawks. Every other bird is flying at night, and they do that to avoid those hawks. But also it's cooler because they get a lot of muscle fatigue. It's really hard on them, and they use the stars and the moon and the Earth's magnetic field to migrate. So that's the stars and the moon component is where dark sky gets involved. And it's really fascinating. You can follow this live. The birdcast.org is a subsidiary of the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. They have live trackings. They start as soon as the sun goes down during migration. So you actually see the birds. You can see how many birds are flying at a specific time. And they also have forecast models. So I loaded this up today. So tonight there will be 137 million birds flying on this flyway. So that really helps put in perspective the number of birds we're talking about here. And even though we have incredible songbird die-off happening right now, we still have a lot of birds. And why is Lights Out Heartland so important? And that is because of the light pollution that's happening. So here's a little model that shows you from the 50s to now, light pollution increasing in the United States. Here is directly along the Highway 70 corridor between Kansas City and St. Louis. You can see just in a short period of time how fast lights are expanding. And St. Louis is ranked as the 5th most dangerous city for these migratory birds. More birds die in St. Louis every year on migration than except 4 other cities. So that's not a great ranking for us to have, not something to be proud of. This is a model that came out to this year. This is our light intensity. So you can see that St. Louis region perfectly outlined by lights. And this is why when you look up at night, you don't see the Milky Way or very many stars at all. This is a stunning video that really kind of illustrates for you what we're talking about here. So this is the September 11th memorial that happens in September during peak migration. These lights that replicate the Twin Towers, go up in the sky 4 miles, and they're seen for a minimum of 60 miles. So every one of those little specks you see in there is a bird that is trapped in the light. So what was happening is the birds are flying. They get disoriented by that light because remember, they're navigating by light. They get disoriented and trapped, and they circle in those lights until they become exhausted and they fall to the ground and they die. So thousands of birds were dying whenever they turned on the memorial lights. So what they do now is Audubon volunteers stand at the base of the lights. They count into the beams, and when they reach 1,000 birds, they turn off the lights for about 15 to 20 minutes to allow the birds to get recalibrated and fly away. And then they count for the next group coming through. So this is an incredible illustration of what we're talking about. So when the birds are flying through the St. Louis region, you can imagine how disoriented they get around here. There was a big news report. I don't think it was, I think it was last year or 2 years ago. 1,000 birds hit one skyscraper in Chicago, and they were all warblers, all of the same species, and they all died in one night. And that is just an incredible thing that we can have an instant impact on. So how can we make lights friendlier to birds? So there's a few things we can do. We can use shielded fixtures. These are all things that we talked about when we passed the urban night sky practice for Stacy. This is what we do in our parks. This is how we designed the new community center. We did all of these things. We use warm colors. They help people too. Lower intensity lights. That's why our pickleball players sometimes aren't happy with the lights in the gym, but it's healthier for them. Motion sensor lights are phenomenal. You can get the security benefits without a constant light by using motion sensors. And then it also saves you money too. And then closing your blinds and curtains at night. That can really cut down on how much light is coming outside of your home. And then actionable steps we can take. We can have lights out programs where we really say, hey, let's all get together. Let's turn out our lights. Let's help save songbirds or waterfowl. It's really important. Avoiding uplighting. So when we built the community center, a lot of people wondered why we don't have lights that light up the outside of the community center. And this is why. We really want to have these good lighting principles. Because not only do they help birds during migration, they help us be good neighbors so that we're not polluting the neighbors and the homes around us. Using dark sky approved fixtures, which we do, and then limit external lighting. So turning off your decorative landscaping lights, your outside lights during migration after 10 o'clock at night. You really don't need them. You don't necessarily need them for security. A lot of people are curious about that. So I have a couple of quick slides here to show you. So shielding your lights, you can see on the left, that's a fire station that put in really bright lights. Then they shielded them, and you notice the difference. They're still getting all the light they need, but now the light is not going up. It's not going up into the sky. So that really makes a significant difference. Really small step, but makes a big impact. And then this is an illustration we use a lot. So there is a person in that doorway, but the light is so bright that it's blinding you. So you are not safe, even though you think that you have a really bright light. So by shielding the light, now you can see the person. It's the exact same one. So again, motion sensors having properly designed lights is really safe. So when we ask people to turn off their lights, we're not making them necessarily less safe. We're just making it, better for the birds to be able to fly. We are not alone. There are lots and lots of agencies that have embraced Lights Out Heartland. This is a list of some of the local ones we have. And we're not leading the pack. We're in the middle of the pack. So this evening I asked for the motion to approve resolution 2026, and I forgot the number. 65. Pardon me? 265. So this is for Lights Out Heartland, and I am happy to answer any questions. I know it's a lot of information. We went over it pretty quickly, but I'm happy to answer any questions I can.
Do we have any questions from the council? Go ahead.
Is this something that you would plan to talk with maybe the schools to do some education with the students, or have one of your staff do some outreach with the students?
We absolutely plan to do some social media promotions. Over the last few years during peak migration, we've put up social media posts. We started doing it when we were certified with Stacy Park. And partnering with the schools is a great idea. Right now, we don't currently have an avenue to do that, but we could figure one out.
And then reaching out, I know we've done the social media, but reaching out to our businesses. And what about our own buildings?
Well, the Parks and Rec buildings, we follow all of these guidelines.
Okay.
I cannot speak for City Hall. The resolution does ask that the city follow those guidelines. We do have some lights on this building, so I think that is a discussion that the senior staff could absolutely have.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-265, a resolution in support of the Lights Out Heartland campaign.
Second.
Okay, can we please poll the council?
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Councilmember Rashawn Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So now we're going on to item number 8, request to declare a 2015 vehicle surplus.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have in front of us today a request to surplus 2015 Impala that has served its purpose well for the city of Olivet. Running in about 55,650 miles. It was displaced by the purchase of another police vehicle that moved back into the planning department, and you can go take a look at her right outside before she goes to auction if you'd like. But more than happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions from the council? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the surplus of asset 01428 2015 Chevrolet Impala with approximately 55,650 miles.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, can we please poll the council?
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Councilmember Rashawn Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Thank you. sir.
Thank you.
All right. Now this is part 2 from hearing from citizens. Are there any citizens in the room who'd like to speak? Do we have any online? Okay.
Anyone looking? Oh.
Okay, so we're going on item number 8, review and acceptance of minutes. Were there any corrections to the minutes that anyone saw? I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the council minutes from March 24th, 2026 and the work session minutes from March 24th, 2026 as well.
Second.
Okay, can we please poll the council?
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Councilmember Rashawn Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Okay, item number 12, city attorney's report.
No report this evening.
Okay, item number 13, we will have an executive closed session. I would like the motion to close the session for personnel matters.
I'll make a motion to move to executive closed session pursuant to the revised statutes of the state of Missouri to discuss personnel matters pursuant to section 610.0213.
Second.
Will you please poll the council?
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Councilmember Rashawn Hellman,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. We did not make any major decisions at this time. The session is over. I will entertain a motion
I'll
to,
make a motion to adjourn.
do I have a second?
Second.
So be it.